Well, some people would call me entertaining because I'm very dramatic, but I wasn't looking for it. It just ended up in my inbox on Facebook. A scout DM'd me, and I was going through my messages one day, and honestly, I thought it was a scam. Because they were like, "Hey, I checked out your profile. I think you'd be a good fit for a project we're working on. Are you interested in, participating in reality TV?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, right." And I was like, "Do you want my credit card number?" Because I was just waiting. And she was really sweet. Her name was Jessica, and she was a very nice lady. And we had a little chat, and then pretty quickly I realized it wasn't a scam. And she put me in touch with the casting director at E1 Entertainment.
That was Lannette West, a business professional and reality TV star that's been featured on HBO Max and TLC reality series MILF Manor, where she stole America's heart. Now, she speaks on the topics of addiction recovery, mental health, and all the things the average American woman would like to talk about, but often don't. If you're looking for an honest, insightful, raw conversation about the things that make us laugh, cry, love, and wonder what's going on in the world, stay tuned. Lannette West got a whole lot of things to share with you. Welcome to another episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast with your host, Lopaz. So let's get started.
Sit back and relax and get ready for another exclusive episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast with Lopez.
This episode is sponsored by FindFlightsAndHotels.com. Looking for the perfect summer vacation destination for you and your family? FindFlightsAndHotels.com has got you covered. From tropical beaches to cultural adventures, our brand new travel website is your one-stop shop for booking the unforgettable family vacation you've been dreaming of. Discover amazing deals, top-rated accommodations, and unbeatable flight options, all in one place. Say goodbye to stress and hello to endless fun in the sun. Don't miss out on creating cherished memories with your loved ones this summer. Visit FindFlightsAndHotels.com now and start planning the getaway of a lifetime.
So, where are you from?
I'm originally from Western North Carolina. I'm a mountain girl, and I've lived here most of my life, with the exception of a 2-year stint I did up in DC back in my 20s. And then I was up there, and then I came back, and I've been in North Carolina ever since.
Yeah, it's nothing like the Carolinas.
Yeah.
I've tried living in other places. Nothing like the Carolinas. I don't know what it is. It's like I'm from the Myrtle Beach area.
Oh, okay, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I lived in Atlanta for 11 years. I lived in California for a couple of years, but it's nothing like living in the Carolinas now. And I love the Charlotte area, so I'm not going anywhere else. This is it.
Yeah. So where are you now?
I'm in the Charlotte area.
Oh, you are now. Okay.
Yeah. I came back here during the pandemic.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So everything was shut down, and at the time I was working at UPS, so I was like, "Hey," I asked the manager, "Hey, can I transfer?" And he was like, "Well, I don't see why not. We're not doing much around here."
Go.
and I put my paperwork in, and a month later I was packing up.
Wow. Well, good for you.
Yeah, So, and then that's when I started this show.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Started during the pandemic, and because everything was shut down. But when I came here, everything wasn't shut down. Yeah, it was kind of certain days were kind of open, and certain days, people were shut down and open, just depending on what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
At the time,
Yeah, some people really didn't buy into that whole isolation and mask thing.
Well, I always say that really didn't change much for me because I was pretty much by myself anyway.
Yeah. There you go.
So that didn't really change much for me. But the only thing I didn't like is I couldn't get out and do my normally regular scheduled things.
Yeah.
So how do you get into entertainment and the shows, the reality shows? How do you break in that industry? I guess some people would say.
Well, interestingly enough, it was not something I sought out. It kind of fell in my lap. I'm not like an entertainment. Well, some people would call me entertaining because I'm very dramatic, but I wasn't looking for it. It just ended up in my inbox on Facebook. A scout DM'd me, and I was going through my messages one day, and honestly, I thought it was a scam. Because they were like, "Hey, I checked out your profile. I think you'd be a good fit for a project we're working on. Are you interested in, participating in reality TV?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, right." And I was like, "Do you want my credit card number?" Because I was just waiting. And she was really sweet. Her name was Jessica, and she was a very nice lady. And we had a little chat. And then pretty quickly, I realized it wasn't a scam. Okay. And she put me in touch with the casting director at E1 Entertainment. And I did a little Zoom question and answer session for about 15, 20 minutes. And that was pretty much it. And interestingly enough, I auditioned at the time with my son, not knowing that was for MILF Manor season 1. Oh, wow. And I never knew. I was never told it was MILF Manor season. We didn't get it, thankfully. And then she made the comment that the producers kind of liked your energy and how you presented. So if something else comes up in the future, I may reach back out. I was like, okay, sure. And honestly, I didn't think another thing of it. It was, it's fun and it was interesting and whatever. And so I went and continued on with my life. And about a year later, she reached out again and said, "Hey, I've got this new opportunity called Northern Love."
Wow.
They didn't tell us it was MILF Manor until we were up in Toronto the day before filming started.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that year later, were you thinking, "Oh, they're not going to call anymore"?
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about it. And I got a text and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure. I'll listen to it." And I did another Zoom, like interview type situation. And she called back. And at first it was like, "Yeah, you're in." And then there was a lot of back and forth because I sent one of my friends to her as well, to the casting director, Jocelyn. And she got cast fairly quickly.
Oh, wow.
But then me, I was like in and out. So I don't know what behind the scenes discussions were going on. They were like, "No, we don't like her." "Yeah, we like her." "No, we don't like her." So it wasn't until like 36 hours before I had to be in Toronto that they finally gave me the green light and told me to pack. And I got my flight information.
So what did your family say? Were you single or married at the time?
Single. I haven't been married since 2015. So very single. I hadn't even dated. I hadn't had a boyfriend in like 2 years. So very single. And the first thing I did was I ran it by my kids because my kids are older. I have a 28-year-old son and an 18-year-old daughter, and they were 17 and 27 at the time. And I kind of ran it by them, and my son was fairly indifferent. He was like, "Yeah, whatever, Mom." And then my daughter, she was like, "Yeah, you should do it." And there was a point where I was like, "No, I'm just not going to do it. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, a reality show? Like, what? I don't even watch reality TV." So, and my daughter was like, "Mom, how many opportunities like this happen to people? Like, you just got to do it just to say you did it." And so I said, "You're right. Let's do it."
So did your kids come with you at the time?
No. They stayed at home. I was gone 3 weeks, and my older son kind of looked out. Well, my daughter probably took care of my son, actually.
Okay.
But no, they stayed behind, and I didn't have any contact with anyone because they take your laptop, your phone, your passport, your wallets, everything. And you have a PA, production assistant.
Okay.
And they have their contact information. So I gave that to work, in case there was some type of emergency or something.
Oh, it's just like a job. Some jobs are like that.
Yeah.
Some jobs are like that. Yeah. Especially back in the day before cell phones. Yeah.
Right. Good old days.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a pretty fast turnaround. 36 hours.
Oh, I literally, as soon as I got the green light, I ran to the mall. I bought 2 dresses and 2 pairs of shoes. because they were like, you're going to need some kind of cocktail stuff. And I couldn't fit my fat ass in anything I had. So I was like, okay, I got to go get something. And yeah. And I just threw some stuff together. And I said, look, I don't like walk around in lingerie. Like I've got leggings and sweatshirts. Like that's what I live in. And they were like, just bring what you got. And I was like, okay, here I come.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wild.
So did you have any idea what type of woman they were looking for? You know, they don't say anything, kind of vague.
They don't tell you anything. They tell you the least amount of information as possible. And I was even more confused once I met the other women as to how I got there. So
like when you got to the other airport, was there a car waiting for you, a driver?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you got kind of the star treatment. You know, they had the little thing, the placard with your name on it, and the black car, and you know, it was. And then somebody met you at the hotel because they wanted us all sequestered. We didn't get to see each other because I knew my friend was there because I had talked to her before she left, but she didn't know I was coming because I hadn't gotten the green light yet, so she wasn't sure I was going to be there or not. But yeah, then they just had people that took care of you. And for like 2 days, all I saw was the PA and the producers. And I stayed in my room the whole time. Yeah. It was boring.
So when did y'all start officially taping?
It was the day after Labor Day of 2023, September. It was like September 5th, I think. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So what was the day-to-day routine like? How many are you taping? Long hours? Oh god!
Yeah, and no days off. There were no days off.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I think it was a 21 or 20 or 8. I don't know. It was like 3 weeks basically. Okay. But I left early, so I wasn't there the entire 3 weeks. But every morning they, if you weren't up and moving by like 7:30, they would come and wake you up because they wanted you dressed and ready, and you weren't allowed out of your rooms in the morning until you were mic'd. So you got to know the audio folks really well because they were the first person you saw in the morning and the last person you saw before you went to bed. So you would get mic'd, you'd get dressed and showered and everything. And, some days I put more effort into it than others, trust me. Yeah. And then they would make you up and you'd go downstairs and go in the kitchen and start mingling, eat breakfast, have coffee, and kind of see what was going on. And we didn't know any plan. We had no idea what our day would consist of. When something happened, we found out about it as it happened. There was no planning, no structure. And that was, that for me personally, that was a little traumatic. So that was, and they threw you balls. I mean, this wasn't just like, oh, hey, get your swimsuits on, we're going to the pool. I mean, it was, hey, put your swimsuits on, we're going in the backyard and pouring maple syrup all over each other. Crazy shit. And I was so embarrassed, and I was constantly thinking.
So the theme of the show was it's kind of dramatic, and anything can happen at any given time. And the producers created the theme; they were in on it. Y'all didn't really know anything.
Yeah, I'll be honest, because a lot of people ask me, well, did they tell you what to do and what to say? And I'm like, no. I mean, the producers were great. They're very experienced. It's the same producers that do The Bachelor and the Bachelorette series for ABC. And they were very, very professional, very fun, very experienced. And all the words are our own words. Nobody would tell us what to say. I mean, the most we got from them was guidance. They would be like, hey, Lannette, I think Anthony's in the Realty room with Rebecca. You might want to go check that out. And I'm like, wait, what? Okay. And I go running in there, and of course then I'm like, oh, fuck this, and I have my little dramatic episode. But that's the most that they really manipulated things.
So what time y'all would get up? Most days.
Every morning, between 6:30, 7. Now sometimes I would try to sleep till 8 because we would be up. There were nights, mornings, where the night shift producers would come in and be like, y'all need to go to bed. It's 3 a.m., shut up and go to bed. And we would, usually we'd been drinking, so we weren't always really very obedient. But yeah, it was long days and long nights for sure.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for 3 weeks, right? Straight.
I think I was there 18 days. I don't remember. I was there like 5 days short of everybody else. Not to spoil the show if anybody's planning to watch it, but I left early. So
okay, so when you left, what happened?
It's a simple question with a really complicated answer. Well, what happened was I started hanging out with this guy, Anthony, and he was very smooth, Italian New Yorker, and not my type, but he pursued me, and that was very flattering. And he said all the right things, and I really liked hanging out with him. And what people didn't see is, him telling me things like, hey man, like I really dig you and I really want to see you after this and I want you to come up to the shore and spend time with me. And so I'm really thinking, oh well, this show is just kind of like a little inconvenience. We'll see each other after and spend time together and see if we can make this work. And needless to say, none of that happened. But they brought in some new MILFs. And trying to spice things up, and it certainly spiced things up. And one of the ladies caught the attention of Anthony, and so Anthony started pursuing her, unbeknownst to me. I didn't realize the extent to which he was engaging with her. Let's put it that way. But once I, caught wind of it, and it became very apparent that he had some interest, I was pissed off. I was like, you're not going to make me look like a fool. Because, she and I could not be more different. Okay. Like, night and day. And I'm like, I'm not going to be put in a realm where I'm supposedly competing with this woman. Like, don't do that. Nope. And so I got pissed off, and I was like, you know what, Lannette? You don't have to be here. You didn't sign a contract. You signed an NDA, but you didn't sign a contract. And I was like, I don't have to do this. And so it was like 2 a.m. I packed my shit, took my suitcase to the door, and I was like, I'm out of here. And the producers started freaking out. They're like, no, you can't leave. You can't leave. I'm like, fuck you. Yes, I can. They're like, we don't have a car, Lannette. It's like 3 a.m. And I'm like, I will pay someone on the production staff $100 to take me to a hotel. I will get the fuck out of here. And they were like, oh no, don't go. And then finally, I think behind the scenes, they were making things happen, and they got a car because they wanted to film it, obviously. Yeah. And they did. And I packed my stuff and left. And they took me to a hotel, and I cried for about 12 hours in the hotel alone with a PA. Well, they dropped me off. They weren't in the room with me. And then my flight home was the next evening. And it was kind of traumatic. I'm not going to lie. I was really upset.
Do you think some people on the show were doing some showmanship for the cameras?
Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Like laying it on a little thick, I guess.
Yeah, like that. It's kind of like when you see an entertainer on stage. Let's take Usher for example. You see Usher on stage, I can tell, he's putting a little bit too much onto it.
Right, you're like, calm down. Right.
Bringing guys, girls on stage that he know. I'm like, looking a little bit too much, So yeah, I would think it would be some of that on camera too,
Oh, for sure. I tried. For me personally, I just tried to be myself, and I tried to come across, as an intelligent, articulate, like classy person. I'm not always those things, but I like to consider myself those things. And so I found myself in a very familiar role, which was that of peacekeeper, and everybody just needs to get along. I don't want anybody yelling, because like when people get violent or loud or aggressive, it really bothers me just because of my background. And so I was always trying to keep everybody happy and together, and facilitating communications between everybody. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But mostly I spent probably the majority of the time just kind of being a little bit embarrassed, because I was like, I have clients, I have, a manager, I have a director, I have a VP that's going to see this. And I wanted to make sure that it didn't reflect poorly upon me or my family or my career or the company I represented. I did check it out with my company before I left, and they gave me the blessing.
What did they say?
Well, they told me, they were like, fine, you can do whatever you want. I have plenty of PTO. Like, I have a shit ton of PTO at work. So that wasn't an issue. And they just said, you can't say your actual position name because it's kind of unique to where I work. And number two, you can't say the company name. And I'm like, well, or the industry that we're in.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's funny because once people find out my name, all they have to do is go to LinkedIn and see where I work.
Well, yeah. Unless you take it down,
No, I didn't. They didn't tell me to take it down. But I guess they just didn't want it on the show. I mean, obviously now, people know I work at NetApp. I work in data storage, cloud services, and I'm a support account manager in federal government. So, supporting the federal government. And so it's not so much an issue now because I don't think it's going to be such a direct reflection on them, Yeah.
And plus, they already looked at it.
Right. And I didn't do anything, I didn't share any proprietary information. Hopefully I didn't embarrass them too greatly.
Yeah.
But they just didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a couple clips, of the show. I like,
okay,
kind of laid back most of the time. You like the peacemaker, kind of. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So did you make, are you still cool with people on the show? Or any friendships came about?
Yeah. Well, there's several that I have absolutely no interest in having any contact with.
Yeah.
But yeah, Darren and I have a friendship. We haven't been as close over the past year or so. Just, I think life gets in the way, but I consider Darren a friend for sure. I spent some time with him, at one of his, I think it was his nephew's wedding out in Utah. And then, Barbie, we were very good friends. We were very close. We went to New York City together to do the press tour, had a great time. And then we kind of hit a road bump and had some drama. And sort of didn't talk there for a while. And I was in LA and I was like, I really wanted to tell her about my trip to LA and I was missing her. And I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Like, we need to just be mature adults about this and talk it through. And so I picked up the phone and I called her. And to her credit, she was very receptive and very kind. And she was like, I'm really glad you reached out. And so we started talking again. And, the nature of our friendship isn't quite the same as it was before. I don't think it'll ever be the same. But, I consider her a good friend and I value her friendship for sure.
I think that's cool. Because most people, from what I've been told, once they leave them shows, that's it. There's no... Hey, we have nothing to talk about.
I can understand why, because it's honestly, I liken it to it's a very trauma bonding experience, because there are very few people that really understand what you went through except the people that were there.
Yeah.
So, if it turns out to be maybe not the best experience, you don't want to associate with that anymore. And being around those people might bring that back to you more, so I kind of get it, like saying, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I feel that way about some of the people on the show for sure. And then there are other people that I just didn't connect with, for whatever reason, and had no reason to contact or talk to anymore. I mean, I don't hate anybody.
Yeah.
There's several I don't have a whole lot of respect for. But, I wish them all well and hope they're doing great.
Yeah, there's some people on some of these shows that I've seen in the past. I think the producers, they get people that's entirely grew up completely different. One person might have had both parents in the household growing up, and the other person might have grew up in the system. I'm like, oh my God. So
and you throw them together.
Yeah, that's a recipe for a disaster.
I agree.
Yeah, so it's so you have 10 people together, it's entirely different. One person, their parents died in a car accident growing up. Yeah, oh my, and when another person might, they might grow up a Mormon. Another person might grow up a Muslim. The other person grew up in maybe in Australia somewhere. I'm like, oh my God, this is a crash waiting to happen.
Right.
I think they do that on purpose.
Well, yeah, it definitely makes for good TV, right? It makes for a lot of drama and a lot of different kinds of interactions. But I mean, in reality, that's kind of like what we're all doing walking around in public every day. You come across people that aren't like you. You come across people that are in a bad place. You come across people that you wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to spend time with. Yeah. Which is why, I always try to treat people with respect until you give me a reason not to. And I try to be kind to people because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know. Yeah. I mean, they could have just left the hospital bed where their husband's dying, or their mother could have just passed away that morning, or you just don't know. You have no idea. So you have to give them the benefit of the doubt, and just be nice. Yeah,
I mean, people go through stuff. If people don't respond the way I would like, I don't take it personal. I'm like, hey,
it's about them.
They had a bad day, man. I don't know. But
I used to take it personally. I used to until I realized it's about them. It's not about me.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you left the show, can you walk outside and people will be like, hey!
Oh, God, no, thank God. When we were in New York City, we got recognized for the first time on the street. And Barbie and I, we took a picture with her. We got all excited because we were like, oh. But no, that doesn't, I mean, I don't have issues like that.
Well, a place like New York, Atlanta, Miami, LA, the bigger cities, people would probably notice you. But in like the smaller cities, probably not so much, I would think.
Exactly. That's been my experience.
Yeah. Because there's celebrities that stay around here,
Oh, yeah.
But they walk around, nobody not really paying attention to them like that unless you really in that world or you really pay attention like that, because but for the most, like for example, I've seen Michael Jordan many times. Downtown, nobody's really paying attention. He's just tall as hell. He's walking around. now kids notice him.
Okay.
More than adults.
Really?
So people aren't really paying attention to people like that.
Yeah. Well, I think in North Carolina, like especially as you say in the smaller towns, celebrity and all that stuff really doesn't mean a lot to them. It's really not on their radar. It's not something that they value or spend a lot of time investing in. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Like, well, for example, like where I'm from, the Myrtle Beach area.
Yeah.
They don't care nothing about no celebrity.
Yeah.
Oh, they'd be like, if I say, hey, I saw, I think I told my cousins or my brothers, hey, I saw, this is when I was younger. I was about 20. I was 20 years old, I told my brother, hey, I saw Nas. I was hanging out with Nas the other day. He's like, oh, okay, cool. He didn't give a shit. He didn't care at all. Like, oh, okay.
Right.
People don't really care about stuff like that as much as we think.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that it happened to me talking about famous people. It was last June, and I was checking my DMs on Instagram, and I saw this account reached out to me and said some very kind, flattering things, and it was Little Tunchi, and I was like, who is this? I had no idea who it was, and it had a little check mark next to it, so I knew they were verified. So I was like, oh, well, let me see. Is this like really an important person, or is this somebody that got verified so they wanted to feel important?
Yeah.
So I went on there and I looked it up, and it was Lil Wayne, and I was like, 18 million followers. I was like, oh shit. I was like, did he really just DM me? And so I DM'd back, and I was like, wow, thank you. And he spelled my name correctly, which is always a very endearing thing for me because a lot of people don't. And then I was like, is this really you? Because I figured it was like some 22, 25-year-old
A lot of
social
trolls
media
online.
I didn't think it was actually him. And he's like, no, it's me. And we kind of went back and forth a little bit. And I was like, I'm not buying it. And he sent me his number. He said, call me. And it was kind of late. And so I wasn't going to call that late. So I waited the next day. And I called, and it went to like voicemail or some funky recording or whatever. And so I texted the number and I said, haha, see, I told you it wasn't you. It just went to voicemail. I was like, quit playing. And then I hung up and called Barbie, and I was like, Barbie, it wasn't him. It went to voicemail. And she was like, girl. And as I was talking to her, I got a FaceTime request from that number. It was coming in. And I was like, oh shit, they're FaceTiming me. Hold on a second. Let me go see who it is. And I hit it. And there's Lil Wayne, face tats and dreads and everything. And I was like, thank God I had like done my hair and gotten ready. I mean, I was ready for work. I didn't just do that. But anyway, and it was him. And we were chatting, and he was doing something with his son. And he was like, look, I can't really talk right now. He's like, I just wanted you to know, look, girl, it's me. And I was like, okay, I believe you now. So
is he cool?
Oh my God, he's amazing. He's a very special person. And the parts of him that I saw, like his image or whatever,
I just made it up.
I've never listened to rap music. I don't really listen to a lot of music in general. And I couldn't even have told you like the name of one of his songs or a record. Like I knew of him just because he's so famous, but I've never like been a fan. Yeah. And so I really didn't have a lot of preconceived notions other than just the stereotypes of rappers, right? And he was the antithesis of every stereotype. He was incredibly kind and humble and poetic and complimentary and attentive. And I mean, I just love him to death. I do.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff is just an image. That's most of the people. They're not really like that in real life.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very special human being and incredibly talented, and his rap game's pretty good.
Oh, that's good. Some of these guys are not. They're not that good. Yeah,
they're smooth. He's smooth. I'll tell you that. That's he's real smooth.
That's good. You know, the funny thing, I met a lot of like celebrities when I was young.
Okay.
Like 17, 18, 19 years old. I was so naive. This is when I first got my license. Yeah. And I used to sneak away in my mom's car and go to parties and clubs. And I always knew somebody that could get me in. Yeah. And I used to like go to my cousin's college, like Francis Marion in Florence. I used to go there on the weekends and visit. I used to sneak there. And my mom never knew about it.
She does now.
Well, rest in peace to her. She's gone now. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I used to sneak to Francis Mary, and they used to have a lot of parties back in the day in Florence. And that's how I got to meet a lot of these rappers and singers and entertainers like that. And I realized there was a guy that my cousin went to college with, and he knew all these guys. This is how I got to meet them at the hotel after the show and everything. And I realized these guys just found a way to make a lot of money doing what they love to do. That's basically it. You know? And like most of the stuff that the interviews and stuff like that, they hate it. They don't like that, they hate it. They say, look, I just want to make music. I love my fans, but I don't like all the drama and the dealing with the promoters and the managers. That's the part that they don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand that.
Yeah, So like after, so when you came home, did you go back to work or did you?
Yeah. I still had like another week off from work, and so I went ahead and took that time, and then then I went back to work and resumed my life as if nothing had happened.
Yeah, because I always wanted to did other opportunities come your way, or no?
Not for me. That's That's not something I've necessarily made myself available to.
Yeah.
The one good thing, well, not the one, but one of the best things that came out of it is I came back with a sheer determination to get in shape and lose weight and look better. So, because, some of the other women on the show were my age or around my age or maybe even older, and they looked fantastic. Their bodies look like the bodies of like women half their age. And I'm looking at my body and I'm like, shit, if they can do it, I can do it. So I ended up, I got with a trainer. I started lifting weights 3 days a week. I lost 25, 30 pounds. I had some cosmetic surgery. I had a mini tummy tuck and a lower bleph that took the fat pads out of my eyes. And I was like, woo-hoo. And I probably that following March, in my opinion, I looked the best I've really ever looked in my life. So that was, and I felt the best that I've ever felt. So it was, from that perspective, it was a positive. I mean, there are other positives, obviously, that have come out of it, and things that I value and appreciate. And I'm sure there are things that are still yet to come. But that was one thing for me, because I've always struggled with self-esteem and, issues like that, like feeling worthy and, all that kind of stuff. So working on myself and investing that kind of time in myself really kind of changed who I am.
Okay. So you don't have any regrets? You would do it over again?
For sure. I have no regrets over the things I do. Even the stupid shit I do, I value because I learn a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes, but I've got a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, that's why I always say, you just learn from everything, good or bad or whatever. That's how I am anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I relate to that for sure.
Yeah. So I guess being on the show, have you found that it kind of was an advantage? Is there an advantage being on that show? I guess if you apply that to your life now, or to the future, you think you're gonna have an advantage because you're telling people, "Hey, I used to be on the reality show, blah blah blah, this and that." What are people kind of? What's people's response? Do their eyes open wide, like, "Oh, really?" That's.
They're like, "What?" And then I tell them the name of the show, and if it's a guy, they're usually like, "Okay, I can see it. You're a MILF," and I'm like, "Oh Jesus." The women are like, "Lannette, no, you didn't." I was like, "Yes, I did. Shit, why not? I do crazy shit all the time. This is totally like in step with something I would do." I mean, I have family members that no longer speak to me because I'm too dramatic. So I said, "Fuck it, I'm drama. Let's go where drama is celebrated. Let's go on a reality show."
So what did your friends and family think after they watched the show?
Oh, everybody was supportive. And to be honest, and those that weren't didn't convey it, and I didn't really want to hear it anyway, so I didn't give a shit. So I kept it very positive. They kept it very positive. And I think one of the real silver linings out of the show, and one of the reasons why I think that opportunity presented itself, and the reason I had my meltdown, I don't know if you saw that scene, but the night that I left, it was a very emotional moment for me, because seeing the guy that I liked, that I really thought was being truthful and honest with me, seeing him with another woman, leaning over the bed, telling her, "I'm going to bring you into the realty room," where he had just brought me a couple nights before. It stirred up a lot of things from my past. And so I just melted, and I just was like, I'm unlovable. No one's going to love me. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not successful. I went through this whole thing where it was all about me and my failures. Yeah. And it struck a chord. And, and I basically said that, like, I've already grieved the death of, me having relationships like that, like a love relationship. Like I'm just not cut from that cloth. I just don't, I'm a lot. And so I don't ever see really any man being able to step up to the plate and deal with me. And so I'm okay being by myself. I mean, trust me, I'm alone, but I don't get lonely, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think the silver lining there is that I exposed that part of me, and a lot of people identified with it, and it resonated with so many women and so many men. More women than men have reached out to me, and I've gotten hundreds, if not thousands, of DMs from people saying, oh God, that broke my heart. I'm so sorry for you, but oh my God, my picker's broken too. Something's wrong with me. I'll never find anybody to love me. And, and it really obviously hit a nerve with a lot of people, and they could relate. And I thought, this is a really good opportunity for me to sort of have a chance to tell my story. How did I get here? How did I get to be 52 years old, single, and feel so badly about myself that I don't think anyone would ever love me? I didn't just wake up this way. I mean, this is the product of years of trauma and abuse and mistreatment, and on my part, bad decisions. And so I wanted the chance to be able to tell my story to people in hopes they could relate to it and see that it's not all bad. I mean, by all accounts, I've turned out pretty good. I graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I have a very successful career. I got a great house. I got a great car. I got a great friends and great family and all that. But it hasn't always been that way. I've struggled a lot, and being able to share that and give that a voice and give people a voice that maybe don't have their own. I'm hoping I can somehow parlay that into providing hope for people and being an inspiration to others that may be questioning it themselves.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter how you are or who you are. I think there's somebody for everybody. Because there's some people I know, I'd be like, man, she's a loose cannon. And if she can find somebody, or maybe he's a loose cannon.
Right.
Right. So regardless of what I think or anybody thinks, I've seen it. I've seen people end up with each other. I'd be like, I don't know how y'all stay together.
Well, in all fairness, I was married for 10 years. I was together with my ex-husband for 20 years. We have the two children together. Yeah. But it was, there were happy times there. Don't get me wrong, but there were a lot of really not so happy times. And I'm at the point in my life where I'm not going to settle for that. I'm not going to settle for just being okay just to be with somebody. Like this man is going to have to be pretty fucking exceptional, because I mean, I've got everything I need and want. Like I don't need a man for anything. I've got a great life. I'm like questioning, do I really even want somebody sleeping in my bed? Do I really want somebody else's laundry in my bathroom floor? You know what I mean? Like, do I want to have to make him a sandwich at 2:00 in the morning? No, I don't want that shit. So the longer I'm single, the more convinced I am that I will always be single.
Yeah, I think the older we get set in our ways.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I try not to be like that. I'm like, I try not to. I try not to be. And I was one of those people. I never thought I would be happy. I never thought it would happen. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I never thought it would happen, because I was, traveling around trying to find my way where I was gonna eventually settle. I'm like, so one day I'm like, is it always going to be like this? I'm just traveling around the world, meeting all these women. I might work this job for 5 years, quit, get fired, find another job, move again. I'm like, is it always going to be like this? I asked myself that like twice. And at some point I said, man, I remember when I was in the Navy, right? Okay. When I was in my early 20s, and an older guy told me, because I told him I was getting out, right? Mm-hmm. He said, what you getting out for? And I told him, I said, well, I'm trying to get a job at the power plant at the time, right? Mm-hmm. And I was telling him about all these plans I got or whatever. Mm-hmm. He said, oh, okay, you one of those guys, you're a very positive guy. You think highly of people. I said, well, yeah. He was like, he said, you think he said something. He said, you think you care about, he said, it sounds like you care more about people than they care about themselves. You know what? You might. I didn't say anything at the time, but I thought about that. I said, he might be right about that. And he told me, like, just before I got out, he said, when you get out, he said, I've been to all those places that you talked about. And he said, in the places that I haven't been, I know people that live there. And he said, you're going to be surprised when you get out there. Because he says, there's no perfect job. He said, you're probably going to have to make one.
Great advice. Yeah.
And I never forgot that until I got to probably like my early 30s. And I was like, every job I go on, it's the same bullshit I keep running into.
Yeah.
There's no perfect job position or company or whatever. So I said, I guess in order for me to be happy, at least have the chance to be happy, I guess I have to create everything that I want. This goes for job or just income in general.
Absolutely.
Income in general, relationships I want, etc. And that's what I did, but I never thought if I would have kept, the same mindset I had when I was in the 20s, I would not be happy today.
Well, absolutely. And that's one of the benefit of years, right? Is the wisdom that comes with it. And I was always looking for something else to make me happy. Or if I got this job, I'd be happy. If I made this much money, I'd be happy. If I had this kind of car, I'd be happy. And what I've finally come to realize is that being happy is a decision that I make every day.
Yeah.
It's about being grateful for what I have. It's counting the enormous number of blessings and not always focusing on the negative and feeling like the victim and poor little me, look what's happened to me. I can still reflect on the trauma in my life, but it's from a different perspective now. It's from the perspective of a woman who is immensely grateful for who she's turning out to be.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I had all the cars that I wanted. I mean, at one point, actually back then, I was making more money back then than I am today. And I still wasn't happy.
No. Yeah. So, more money, more problems, but like, let's say there is once you get to a certain amount where, you can meet your obligations, you can pay your rent, pay your mortgage, pay your car payment, pay your utilities. Once you can do that, then the difference in the amount of money you're making is just all relative. Yeah. Because it's like whether you're making $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, you still got problems. Yeah. And you still got to decide, am I going to be happy? And it's literally a choice you have to make every day. And some days I make the choice to be happy, and some days I make the choice to be a miserable bitch. Yeah. And then I try to learn from that and, reflect on that and go, ooh, yesterday, that was not a good day, but that doesn't mean it has to ruin tomorrow. So it's I think it's one of the benefits of getting older, though. I wish I knew in my 20s what I knew now. Yeah. I would be hell on wheels. Wow.
Yeah, I was saying that the other day. I wish I knew what I knew what I knew now back then.
Absolutely. Because you do a lot of things differently, though, and then you would change who you are. So maybe it's not the best thing. I don't know.
I know one thing. I thought when I was in my 20s that the people that I was around, I thought we would be friends today. I'm like, I wish somebody would have told me this, that, I wasted all this time around people and I don't even talk to them no more.
And definitely what I've learned is people come into your life for a reason or a season.
Yeah.
And not everybody's supposed to be there forever because you're not the same person you were 10 years ago. So why would you still be around the same people? Because I'm sorry, the company you keep is a huge reflection of
Yeah.
who you are and where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so it just like you evolve, your friendships evolve.
Yeah, and that's true. And I'm like, I mean, there were at least probably 3 or 4 people. I said, man, we're gonna be friends forever.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. I'm like, oh man. And then it always happens where it's like, you know, something happened, it's kind of out of my control. I mean, if I'd done something wrong, of course I would fess up to it and make up and say apologize or whatever. I don't even know what I did. I'm like, you know, and it's like one guy, he you know, his wife, I don't know what she said, but he said, well, I didn't like you said this and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't say. I said this. I was only trying to. I just needed some help with this. This ain't had nothing to do with. You know, it had nothing to do with your wife. What are you talking about? And that kind of rubbed him the wrong way, and he don't want to talk to me no more. I'm like, what the hell? You know, stuff like that. That's out of my control. I'm like, what the hell? You know, stuff like that. You know, and then you have some people, they just drift off. You know, they
do you a favor. They do you a favor, and the trash takes itself out.
Yeah, you know. So I'm like, I spent all this time around these people. I spent 10, 15 years with these people.
Sure.
I know
you learned everything you were supposed to learn from them, and it was just time for you to move on.
Yeah, you know, but it's hard.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like, how can someone be so important to you and so much a part of your life one day, and then the next day just be gone?
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? And then I asked my mom if she ever had, if she ever been friends with people, and all of a sudden they become like damn near enemies all of a sudden, and they don't want to be around with you or be associated with you anymore. She said, "Yeah, it happens." You know,
well, and you have to understand too, people get jealous, especially if you're having some, level of success or contentment or happiness in your life, and they're not. You're a reminder to them of what they lack, so they start to hate you instead of working on themselves.
Yeah, that has happened too. I didn't understand that at the time. I'm like,
you're not like that, right?
No, because I was like, hey man, we can do this shit together.
Right, like let's lift us all up. Like you don't have to get better by me getting worse.
Yeah.
Like we're all in this together. Let's rise to the top together, because frankly, I want the people around me doing good. I don't hang out with losers. I want people to be doing good. So I support and celebrate their successes, but not everybody is like that.
No.
And when they don't think like you, it's kind of hard for you to understand that different perspective. But you gotta be able to recognize it, because those people, they're parasitic and they will suck the life out of you.
Yeah, I realized that, and I'm like, I realized that some people, they don't want to work with you or create them. They want your spot. Period. In the story, So I'm like, oh, okay, you on that type of shit? Okay, I gotta get away from you.
Exactly. And then you thank them for showing you who they are, and you keep it moving.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I would think that you being on the show, you could kind of, I guess, use the show as leverage, and talk to people and be on stage. What are you doing that? Are you open to doing that?
I absolutely want to do it. Like, I think one of the reasons I'm still around on this planet is to share my story and to talk to people. And whatever venue that happens to be, I'm embracing that. I mean, public speaking is something I've done through my work, and it terrifies me to death, which probably means that's something I should be doing. So it's absolutely on my roadmap, and I'm working with some folks to try to make that happen. So hopefully it'll turn out, and you can be like, hey, I knew that woman when.
Yeah. You know, one day, I'm gonna have an event.
Okay.
Day. I just want to do it one time.
Okay.
Just to see how it is. I know it's gonna take a lot of work based on attending events. I know it's gonna take a lot of work, a lot of moving parts.
Right.
One day, I want to have a business, some type of business conference in North Carolina, and I just want to see how the turnout would be. You know, and maybe if it's a nice turnout, I might just do it again, a second time, or a third time. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah,
You got to start somewhere, right?
yeah, that's what they say. You know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you could do everything all over again, would you have done anything differently as far as being involved with the show and yeah, just being involved with the show?
Yeah, I mean, but you know, hindsight's always 2020. So it's really unfair for me to now look back and judge myself or think, oh, I should have done that differently. I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. And I wouldn't go back and change a thing, because where I am now is I'm on the path where I need to be. I mean, obviously it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right? And I'm finding my way, maybe sometimes a little less, appropriately, or a little less gracefully than I would like. But again, that kind of goes back, no regrets. It is what it is. The show, that's who I was. I didn't put on an act. I'm not an actress. I was just me. So from that perspective, I have absolutely no regrets.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So if people want to follow you online, where would they go to?
Oh, easy to find me on Instagram. I'm Lannette.West with the funky spelling of Lannette, Lanneette. So I'm there. I've got a public profile. I've got a private one just for it's a smaller pool of friends and family and stuff, but I don't really post on that anymore. I post on my main page more. And and if you're interested in LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn as well, and Facebook. And that's and I'm on Threads too, but I just have it where everything I publish on Instagram automatically goes to Threads. I don't really get on Threads itself too much, although I do enjoy it when I do.
Yeah, it's all linked together.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Yeah, for sure.
So there you have it. Share this episode. All links will be found below. Until next time, we are out. Peace.
Thank you.